Alrighty, another day, another tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to be learning how to install Unity. I realized when I made the Rollerball series that I didn't go into it at all, and I realized that might not be the best for new people coming into Unity. If you're tech savvy at all, I'm sure you can figure it out, but for those of you that aren't, and maybe need a tad bit of help and don't know what you're doing, that's okay. I'll do my best to explain it. Go ahead and open up whatever you're using for your browser. I prefer Microsoft Edge because it does not use near as much RAM. It's fast, it's to the point. I don't need all the widgets that and like programs that Chrome uses. Chrome uses way too much RAM. And RAM is, of course, random access memory, and that's what makes your computer think, besides, of course, the hard drive and processor and all that. But the RAM is really what's important in the moment. So if your computer is running slow, it's because you're using Chrome. I hate to tell you. Don't use Chrome. Chrome is bad. Microsoft Edge has gotten me through, and it's a perfectly fine web browser. So if you're using a slower computer, I highly suggest not using Chrome. But back on the tutorial, we're going to want to look up Unity Hub. Get it. So this will take you to the Unity site, and this is kind of their symbol, their logo. So if you kind of don't see that, and the website doesn't look, amazing, then you're probably on the wrong website. Yeah, I guess there's not much to talk about really. Unity Hub, though, of course, is not just Unity. It's the software that takes care of all of your it takes care of all of your versions. I talked about it when I did the Rollerball project, but downloading Unity Hub is really just the first step. We're gonna go ahead and download this. I don't want to do a micro game. Where's the download button? I guess we go here, eh? This? Oh, yeah, another thing. So there's different Unity versions, and not just, the versions of the download. There's Unity Personal, Unity Plus, Unity Pro, and Unity Enterprise. The main difference between these is that Pro, Plus, and Enterprise is basically for teams and big businesses. So here's like the little thing for having Personal. So all you have to do to have Personal is you cannot be making 100K a year in annual gross revenues, regardless of whether Unity Personal is being used for commercial purposes or for an internal project or prototyping. I'm pretty sure this only applies to Unity. So in other words, so long as you aren't using Unity Personal to make 100,000 more a year, then you may use Unity Personal. I've not raised funds in excess of 100,000. I think that still only applies to Unity. I could be wrong, but frankly, if you're making more than 100,000 a year, you can afford Unity Plus or Unity Pro. Yeah, so we're just gonna use Unity Plus because I mean, a lot of us are beginnings, especially me. I'm a college student. I don't make more than 100K in annual gross revenues. So yeah, so let's download Unity Hub. Pop up here. Of course, I've already got this set up. I have this downloaded already. I'll have to go through and get rid of it. Open the file. Yes, sir. Agree to this. So, install location. A lot of times, you've probably never paid attention to the install location, but it is important. If you're using kind of a low-grade computer, like maybe just a laptop or your parents' old desktop, then you might not have a lot of options. But if you're using a newer computer or a school computer, or maybe you have a high-end gaming PC, you may have different volumes. Let me hide all this. All right. You may have different volumes. Actually, I need this open. Volume A, Volume C, Volume D, and maybe even a E. Now, these volumes are your hard drives. This is kind of where everything is stored on your computer and everything is launched from. So Volume A is my M.2 SSD. So that's like my fastest solid storage disk. Windows C is just, my boot drive. I'm pretty sure it's just a regular hard drive. Volume D is another one of my SSDs, and Backup E Plus is my external SSD. We can look at the size of these. We can look up, free space while hovering. But the one thing we need to pay attention to is that little Windows icon right there. That means that is your boot drive. A boot drive is where Windows launches from and where all the Windows processes happen. It is very important that you keep this drive clear. No games on it, no programs on it that aren't Windows related or desktop related, stuff like that. Because if you fill that up, like me, I was storing videos on it, and it filled up, and my computer was booting up really slowly. It was not opening the taskbar down here very quickly. It was just not doing anything it was supposed to be doing for how much I spent for the computer. And the only way to remedy that is just to clean it off and get rid of all those games and put them on your, volume A or your volume D or even your backup. So if you have Unity, if you don't, excuse me, you do not have more hard drives, that's okay. Just put it on your C drive, it'll be fine. It'll slow down your computer a little bit, but at the end of the day, all that matters is that we're making games. If you can go get an external, I don't suggest that you work off of one. It can corrupt pretty easily. Like, they're really easy to corrupt. So I just use mine for storing like all the videos. The videos are massive, but luckily this is a 2 terabyte hard drive, so not a big deal. Yeah, so you're going to choose something that has a lot of storage on your computer. That's preferably not your C drive. In this case, I will be using my D drive, so Unity Hub. Next, you just click install and you install it. I will not be clicking that because I already have it installed. So I'm going to click cancel and I'm going to minimize. And I'll let you guys kind of install. It's a good time to pause while I take a drink. Tasty. Hopefully, in the span of my drink, you've paused the video and gotten everything installed. And you can go to Unity Hub. And I know this is all unorganized, don't talk to me. We can open up Unity Hub. And actually, I don't have the latest version, you might. This is also going to be empty for you. This is all just a couple of projects that I have on the machine. And as you can see, they're all stored on my D drive, not my C drive. And this is kind of coming to the end of the tutorial pretty quickly, actually. We can go to the installs tab down here, not projects, but installs. And we can see that maybe you might already have one installed, possibly. But if you don't, you can click add. You can choose a version here. You have the recommended release, and then you have official releases. I actually might need to switch to this one because I don't even see this one listed anymore. But let's talk about what we're looking at here. We have the recommended release, Unity 2020.3 18F1. This means that this was made on 2020, the third quarter, and this is version 18 of it. And then the LTS means long-term support, which is very important for when you're making games, because if you pick up maybe, this 2021 version, they could stop working on it tomorrow, and any game you made, like, that has bugs in the engine, you're kind of screwed. So make sure you get an LTS version if you're definitely trying to go big with the project. You can move projects between Unity versions, but it's kind of not recommended. It can break things pretty easily. Next up, we have the alpha and beta. Don't use these. Like, maybe if you like to play around with stuff and you're really techie and you really know Unity, go ahead and get them. But don't touch these. Don't touch. Just work with your LTSs and try to get the latest version if you can. If you're working on Unity for a class, I suggest you get the same version as the one you have in class. Yeah, so let's go ahead and grab this 2020.3 recommended release. All right, click next, and we can kind of see some of the dev tools that we might get. So if you have done coding before, you might have some other IDEs downloaded on your computer, like maybe MonoDevelop or what's another one? I can't think of another one right now. But typically, Visual Studio is kind of the most common. Microsoft Visual Studio is completely free. You just need your Microsoft account to log into it. And frankly, it's a really good IDE. I really like it. I've used it for a long time. So choose your specified IDE. independent developer editor. Platforms. This is important. Depending on what you want to make a game for, you're going to want these platforms. Typically, I go for the Android, the iOS, the Mac, the Universal Windows, the WebGL, and the second Windows one. And of course, you're going to want your documentation. What this means is that if you want to build an iOS game, you're going to want the iOS build support. It would allow you to build the game and then put it on the App Store. Now, of course, you need Apple's, you need to get with Apple to put it on the App Store, but you would have the game ready to go instead of building, like maybe a PC game and then trying to port it to Apple. That, simply wouldn't work. And of course, Mac and Universal Windows. Mac and Windows is very different. WebGL is for websites. So if you remember Flash, well, it's not Flash, it's web. But stuff like itch.io or simmer.io or Newgrounds as well use WebGL, I'm pretty sure. And of course, here's Windows again. If you'd like to build for TV operating systems, you can. Or if you want to build on Linux, you absolutely can. Those are just some other options. I'm going to click Next. I've read and agree. Yes, sir. No, because I do not need to download that. You would click yes to that and, of course, download your version of Unity. You don't have to use mine. And after that, you can go to this page and you can start making projects. You can do new. You can look through your templates. You have the 2D template, the 3D template, the high definition render pipeline, and the universal render pipeline. So if you're making a game and you want to build for maybe Apple or Android, or Apple and Android, you might want to use the universal render pipeline because it will come with all the settings that you need to make that happen. Otherwise, if you choose, just 3D or high definition, you're gonna have to configure some of the settings in the project. It's never too bad, but you may have to. Of course, I'm sending this to my D drive. It's okay if you can't, just send it to your boot drive, your C drive, whatever hard drive you have. Don't put it on a flash drive, and don't work off of a flash drive. Whatever you do, it's so easy to corrupt and it's so easy to break. Flash drives can write information onto their hard drive, but they can't erase and rewrite. They only stack information, if I recall. So definitely, be careful with what location you're using. Of course, you can do whatever you like. If you want to use your C drive, you absolutely can. It's really just up to you. If I wanted to, I could put this on my C drive. I have space, or my A drive, but that's where I have all my games. My A drive is my fastest hard drive, so that's why we're not going to use that. We're going to use a D1 because it's just massive. It's a 2 terabyte hard drive, so it'll be a long time before I fill that one up. Yeah, that actually ends the tutorial. We've come to a close. I've shown you how to download Unity Hub and how to use it. I've shown you how to... Oh, they have tutorials in here too, by the way. Forgot to mention. And there's a rollerball project, which is the one I taught. I didn't teach it like this. I used a different method, which in my opinion is easier. But if you want to learn it from Unity, you can do it. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found it helpful. If I missed anything or said anything wrong, let me know in the comments, and I'll try to make amendments in a future video. Yeah, till next time.